Romain Poit, whose World Cup will take in England against Australia and Italy against Romania. The clock is ticking in more ways than one for everyone. Scotland is the home team in the change kit in the white, and Finn Russell's first job to kick off, not going to plan, not going 10 metres, so we'll come back for the scrum. Chris, what are the bullet points for Scotland over the next 80 minutes? What do they need to do?
Well, I think that kick-off underlines it. They're going to have to surprise Italy. Last week I think they were beaten physically. They're going to have to surprise the nations they play against in the Rugby World Cup. That was unfortunate for Finn Russell. It is quite blustery here today at BT Murrayfield, but Scotland are looking to play quickly, do different sort of tactics we've not seen before, try and catch the Italians out. But as always, it starts here, doesn't it, Ben, up front?
Yeah, it does. I spoke about the benefit of having everyone from one team. You've got the Edinburgh front row here. Earlier on in the Guinness Pro 12 in April, they really took apart Aguero on the loose head, and it'll be down to Castrogiovanni to stop Dickinson attacking, because Aguero under pressure, he can hold his own, he can come back at you late. Nell likes a big hit. It's a good first scrum from Italy.
However, it's their front row who went down. One or two fun and games at the scrum a week ago in Turin.
Well, I just wonder whether Romain Poit, he's saying that Castrogiovanni losing his bind. Castrogiovanni, when he came on last week, was really, really low. You tend to expect him to scrummage high. He's a big man. He obviously didn't want to allow Dickinson to get in underneath him. He goes low, but that means his feet are further back. He's more susceptible to dropping the stomach towards the ground and losing his bind.
Wouldn't have done Romain Poit any harm to know that JP Doyle is running one of his lines today, who was the referee in Turin a week ago, and he knows exactly how tough it was to set that scrum.
Set the line. Set the line wide.
And this is another area that's going to be big for both sides. We saw in the Six Nations Italy dominating in terms of their own put-in and getting the driving play going. Scotland will want to lay down a marker, drop one of the forwards into the scrum half position so he can latch straight on.
They did that, and it was John Barclay who does act as the scrum half and finds the real one, the captain, Greg Laidlaw. Ball lost forward.
Another example there from Scotland. You know, the mistake being a negative, but what is a positive is that they're trying to play differently. They shortened the line out there. Went to try and take the drive and then quickly moved the drive at Dave Denton in the midfield, but of course the ball didn't get to him. There's a knock-on beforehand. And then from the advantage, which finished, Italy kicked straight out to touch.
There's David Denton, peroxide blonde HGV, who really does ship it forward. He kind of reissued his World Cup ticket with that performance at the Aviva Stadium, Chris, against Ireland in Dublin a fortnight ago.
He did. He's a big ball carrier, Dave Denton, and he's always willing to do that. Where he can improve, I think, is a little bit more footwork, maybe once or twice give an offload or look for the pass, but he's a direct man and he'll get Scotland going forward.
Also been invited to work a little bit harder defensively, I think, just to work on the all-round aspects of his game. We will watch that closely today as John Barclay, who feared his long test career not so long ago might be over, but he's packing down on the open side. Scotland holding firm, driving forward, winning the penalty.
Yeah, it's Castrogiovanni's side that's struggling. Aguero doing a good job. Nell not being able to get the initial big hit he wants. But it's the bind the referee doesn't like. You can see he's over the top. That right shoulder dipping slightly. He loses it down to his fingertips and rolls in. See, that's his shoulders facing towards us. Just see, I'm not sure Castrogiovanni would agree with that, though. It's all a case of who rolls first.
So much experience. Cap number 112 joining Parise, and Marco Bortolami at the top of the tree. Bortolami, interestingly, not included in Italy's World Cup squad, named by Jacques Brunel this week. The big talking point back home for them. Chris mentioned the breeze that's swirling around, just It's planting a few questions in Greg Laidlaw's mind, but from slap bang in front of the posts, the Gloucester scrum half, the Scotland captain, gives them the lead early on here at Murrayfield. Less than 5 minutes played. Scotland 3, Italy 0.
Yeah, Greg Laidlaw, he can kick them in his sleep. 94% kicking success rate in the Six Nations last year. And he's got this international season off the winning stands on 2 good penalties for Scotland and allows them to build a 3-0 lead.
Third skipper this summer, behind Henry Pyrgos. Alistair Strokosh, who took late charge of the team last Saturday night in Italy. Grant Gilchrist, who was due to captain the side 7 days ago, is in the side today. He's fit and well after feeling a little bit poorly before the match. Got the distance that Scotland would have wanted. As a result, they're going to have to do some defending just beyond their own 22. Peter Horn was up very quickly to force the mistake. And cleared away by Russell, but actually cleared away in the end by Mark Bennett. Good work from Peter Horn, pressing defensively, but then Bennett just a little bit too much on the kick.
Yeah, it was good work and good reactions as well after forcing the error with good defensive line speed. Ball's dropped, picks it up, good offload, and they're trying to play away, they're trying to run Italy. They will have learnt their lessons from the Six Nations game here, where it became a bit of an arm wrestle at times. That plays into Italy's hands. They want to move them around as much as possible.
Good start to the Six Nations for Bennett with that try, but then he hurt his shoulder against Ireland, and his story of late has all been about the recovery from that injury. Here he is involved again for the first time since then for Scotland.
Interesting to see the setup of Scotland here. It's a really good attacking opportunity. Although it's deep in the other half, you can see the space both sides of the scrum. I wonder which way they'll decide to go.
Look how much stiller that Scotland scrum is. They were settled, then they decided to march it on forwards. Italy had switched off a little bit. Scotland just edging that scrum battle at the moment.
One collapsing.
This time it's Matthias Aguero, the zebra loose head. Been Jacques Brunel's go-to loose head in recent memory.
Just think he was locked out there. He felt comfortable. He thought Scotland weren't going to come back at him, going to clear their lines. Here it's all locked out. He's long-legged, and then as soon as Scotland have a little bend and go again, he can't do anything about it, so his hips swing out towards the touchline. He rolls round, and Romain Poit, used to refereeing the tough scrums of French rugby, no hesitation.
34 now.
2 meters,
One game at the 2007 World Cup. He's definitely going to the 2011 one, and now this one 4 years later. Nicely taken in the middle of the line out by Ryan Wilson. So many eyes on him today. An eventful year, but he's doing what he does best, and then the burst from fullback by Hogg. Very nearly taking them beyond the 22. Handy position. This is Wilson again. Brilliant in that Pro 12 final. He served his suspension. An assault conviction. And this is Russell. First time that Russell and Laidlaw have been put together on the bike in this summer series. They've been held back thus far. But the half-back combination that we expect to start the World Cup is starting this match.
Stay there, bro. Use it!
And this is Barkley. First start for 18 months after he came off the bench in Dublin. And now the chase for Lamont, and Lamont scores. Delicious kick from Russell. And Lamont, 4 caps, shy of a century, has another try.
A fantastic start for Scotland. That's Sean Lamont's 13th try for his country, but there was a lot of good build-up play. They went through the phases. It started with a cute set-piece phase, and then when he come back down the blind, here's the initial phase from Stuart Hall coming. That's a set-piece move, and then they went through the process of building the phases, and a wonderful chip from Finn Russell. Lamont doesn't have to break stride, and it's a great start for Scotland.
It's a great line by Hogg, back on the inside. And what it does is it shortens the defensive line. You can see all the big men have got tied back in because the ball went back inside to Hogg. They all shorten that defensive line. It creates just that little bit of space on the outside and a pinpoint accuracy kick.
quite sure what happened to Leonardo Sato. He should have been positioned on that left wing defensively, but it was Marco Fuzet. And in the end, the run for the line was as simple as it can be in those situations for the Scot, who is defying time and defying expectations. He's 34 now. He's sprightly, as enthusiastic as ever.
Nice, Greg.
It's been a wonderful start for Scotland. 10 minutes gone, 10 points on the board.
There's a kick again from Finn Russell, elegantly placed, and Sean Ramon didn't have to break stride. He kept his width. He was out there so he could run onto the ball. Sometimes wingers get caught in field, but he kept his width. It looked like a planned play, very well executed.
So Allen, Italy back underway. They've not really got any of their own punches away yet. Long clearance from Hogg. Luke McLean, the Italian fullback today, and this is Samuele Vanissa, who will be a Saracens player post-World Cup. He's a busy boy in Turin a week ago. Lots of ball time. Aguero, taken on by Giraldini. Allen. Again, the fullback, McLean, adding his weight. The speed of that defensive line. That time it was Mark Bennett who shot forward, really asking questions.
That's better from Italy. They're trying to get to the outside shoulder so they can get numbers with their backs running against extra numbers, and then drifting off that final pass, just trying to get that 3-on-2 on the outside. And good reactions in the end from Horn, just to step in, close the option out for it just to go straight through the hands.
Yeah, Michele Campagnaro, that's very difficult to defend against. He just drifted, as you say, Ben, with the pass. He'd actually beaten Mark Bennett and then couldn't hold on to the ball. He scored 2 tries against Wales, obviously, and both very similar to that. Attacking runners, attacking the ball on the outside edge. A good defence from Scotland.
Pine! Set!
First 3 scrums have all ended in penalties to Scotland. What of the 4th?
You can see there the shunt from Nell, just forcing his opposite number outside him.
Taken by Visser.
Hands out!
Wilson was waiting for it. Didn't have it long before he shoveled it to Johnny Gray. Those who you assume is absolutely nailed on to start the World Cup. Barkley involving himself again. And this is Russell, and Scotland playing with a pleasing energy at the moment. And this time it's Visser who hares after a ball that Palazzani has to guard. And it came to Hill in the end fairly comfortably, but they're playing with their eyes wide open, Chris. They're looking for opportunities all the time.
They are. We spoke about it right at the very start. They're going to have to try different plays, something that the Italians aren't expecting. The Italians like a set-piece game, although saying that, the Scottish scrum's very impressive this afternoon. But they like to be structured, they like to play against a structured attack. Scotland are destructuring it, and it's working really well to their benefit at the moment.
Bramant, the try scorer, underneath it. Taken on by Barkley, who's been a busy old bee in the opening 13 minutes. Coach is impressed with the work that he put in for the Scarlets last season in the Pro 12 and in Europe. Earned his way back into the international squad. Here he is again. Russell again, who's had his involvement. Stuart Hogg.
Just distracted in the kick there a little bit, Hogg. But what's good about Scotland's play, and something Vern Cotter always been very hot on, is the speed of clearing out the breakdown. And because the speed's good, Scotland are able to play at this pace. Italy have to rock back onto their heels defensively. They can't come forward.
And here goes Hogg, put through the hole by Russell. Months and months of fitness work leading to moments like this, and they had a healthy 2-man overlap there, but driven forward instead by Visser. Gray stands back, ready for it.
Leave it!
But Nadelord gets swallowed up. This is Ford, record-breaking 88th cap for a forward for him today. Castrogiovanni was making a nuisance of himself and forces the penalty.
The Italian defence are just holding on. There's quite often low numbers, so 3s, number 4s, number 5s defending in the midfield, and that's very difficult to do when you've got space to cover. And Scotland's attack's looking really sharp, but the Italians will be worried about their defence. They're scrambling, and we're only 15 minutes into the game.
Jacques Brunel already told us that he doesn't fancy another World Cup beyond this one. He's eyeing a return to France once the contract expires next year.
Just when you get an opportunity to clear your lines, a little bit short on the kick. Forwards now really the first opportunity to try and stamp where they think they'll have a dominance for Italy, which is at the line out and the drive. Again, they've dropped Vanessa out to go straight in on the ball.
Great up there fishing, but it's Italian ball.
Unlucky for Italy, I think there. Gilchrist coming around the corner.
Visser to Hogg. And this is Mark Bennett. Richie Vernon the spin in Dublin and Turin, but Bennett much more likely to start in midfield, you would have thought. Barkley, bit of juggling, but held on to it. This is Russell to wait patiently for his first crack at one of these World Cup warm-ups. Bennett, just a little hint of what he was starting to show in that midfield combination that was developing with him and Alex Dunbar before the injuries hit. Holding on to the ball just
first and knock on after.
a second too long. Bennett will get back to his feet rather ruefully.
They just run out of resources a little bit, Scotland, but on the whole, quality of their clear out absolutely superb, and it's allowing them to play this fast game.
What about the midfield combination, Chris? Is Horne and Bennett where we're going to start, do you think?
Yeah, it works really well. Obviously, both Glasgow Warriors, as we see, as Ben's pointed about the clear out. Look at this. Ryan Wilson, Ross Ford clearing out, giving the ball to Greg Laidlaw. That allows Bennett and Horne to work together in the midfield as they did for Glasgow. And I think Scotland are looking really sharp. They just have to keep their discipline at that breakdown, as Ben says, because if you get too much possession, if it's too easy early on, then you can get inaccurate.
Receiver 2 meter blue.
It's been a while since Italy threatened in an attacking sense. It was in the arms of Marco Fuzet. 5th cap with his first start this afternoon here at Murrayfield. Second row alongside Josh Furno.
Now Italy are set in a position they want to be. They've stopped once, they've only got one more go at it. They'll be happier about this drive. Extra numbers coming in from outside now.
First time that Italy have been in the 22. And as we can see, it did not last long. Michele Campagnaro spilling it, inviting Hogg to run it forward, and now it's Visser. Oh, he does so well to make his way up and beyond the 10-metre line. Scotland playing with such an enthusiasm early on. Good value for their 10-0 lead. Only try scored by Sean Lamont, cutting onto a crossfield kick from the fly half Finn Russell.
Stay there.
Really taking it into contact. There's Horne trying to cotton onto Hogg.
Option blue, line
And it
out
all
of
went
scrum.
wrong.
Scotland there just desperate to get on the outside, use that perceived superior pace that they've got out there. You've got to hold those defenders in front of you, and if you all just run laterally across the pitch, that blue line can just drift with you, shepherd you towards the touchline, and then the players outside you can't hit a line as hard as they want to.
A little bit of an injury scare for Stuart Hogg in the warm-up. He and the doctor, James Robson, wandered back towards the dressing room with a little bit of concern on their faces. But British and Irish line fit to start.
He's matured so much as a player. Stuart Hogg is an undoubted talent. He's quick, he's strong, he's brave, but he's got so much more discipline to his game and his persona now. He's a world-class player, and I, for one, am really excited about seeing him in the tournament that's coming up in the next few weeks, and in a Scotland jersey for a lot longer to come.
It's his first match of the summer, along with Laidlaw and Russell and Johnny Gray. This is the third of Scotland's warm-up matches ahead of the World Cup. 1-1, lost one so far. And next Saturday night in Paris at the Stade de France, the concluding rehearsal against the French, live here on BT Sport 1 Saturday evening.
Work hard, guys. Inside shooter for Lucet, clearly in front.
It's a big scrum for Italy, Ben, isn't it? After the first three.
Yeah, it is. Nel not hitting as hard as I thought he would early on. He likes to win that battle, get over the gain line. Aguero usually absorbs and tries to come back later the longer the scrum goes on. But he's being really disciplined now, gets into such a good body position. You can see as he sets up, look at how diligent he is about getting his shoulders back in exactly the right position, flat back. Whereas more rounded his opposite number in the shoulders. Just loses that slightly, but he's going to come back now, just flatten those hips off.
Well, you can see it's hard work for Aguero. He was bending in, feeling the pressure through his spine.
Well, the thing is, because he gets into that really good position, it almost says to the referee, look, I'm being really correct about how I'm doing it, whereas Italians always scrummage. They're all about brim and fire and not so much technique, and Castrogiovanni's the same. Whereas if the referee sees someone really trying to get in a good body position, it's going to play on his mind and it might influence some of his decisions.
Never they push early. Just make sure your player will be aware about.
See there, that left shoulder rises up, so he just drops the bind off it. He can feel himself being tilted over. Nel pincering in on the hooker.
The Scotland captain Al Kellick is with us today down on the touchline. You're interested in the width that Scotland are trying to play with, Al, trying to get beyond that Italian defence?
Absolutely. I think that one thing we've seen from this week that we didn't see last week was the forwards are tipping the ball and they're looking to get outside to the kind of third, fourth, fifth Italian defender. The Italians are very strong in and around the ruck. Last week there was a wee bit more of the kind of one-out running. I would imagine as the game goes on, those tip-ins could develop into the release plays, trying to bring the backs in, because the Italians are definitely a wee bit softer on defence as soon as you get outside that midfield area.
And also, Chris, that tends to bring the outside backs in a little bit more narrow than they might want to be.
Yeah, I think the structure in the Italian defence is pretty poor, actually. I've said before,
if anything happen, I will lead. Don't lead what's happened in the lineup, all right? Stay on your line and that's enough. Thank you.
There's Ryan Wilson being told exactly what Roman Pratt thinks of line. But yeah, the Italian defence, for me, has been quite poor in its organisation structure. We've got big guys in the midfield, and that's exactly where Scotland want to attack them.
This is Horn. Made such an impact when he came off the bench last Saturday, really added an impetus along with Henry Pyrgos, who scored the try that rescued the win. First of 2015 for Scotland. 7 blue is Francesco Minto, the open side, and this is Gray, and he did nicely to find Lamont. Driving over the top in the red cap, Grant Gilchrist, fitting well now. See Josh Ferner with the long hair, imploring more blue shirts to join him in defence, and he was having to hold the castle walls on his own there.
7 blue.
And once again, it's Minto.
Advantage played, but really confrontational line. Everything been drifting across. They're coming round the corner. Italy a little bit slow to wrap with them. That's the offside offence there. But it just meant Italy get used to defending a team drifting towards the touchline. Suddenly an impetus and a direct line back at you. And over the gain line, Scotland went.
Francesco Minto, who's keeping Mauro Bergamasco out of Italy's back row these days. Bergamasco is on the bench. When he comes on, it'll be his 100th cap in that back row. Started every game in the Six Nations under Jacques Brunel. halfway mark of the first half. It's not all Scotland, but on the scoreboard it is 13-0.
Yeah, for me, they've controlled possession, starting from a really solid, in fact, impressive, dominant set piece, and then they've had I suppose that they're quite cute in the way they're trying to attack. Where they look to improve with that is just hold the ball, just hold it, don't give that extra pass, wear the Italians down.
We'll restart from Allen. Put some pressure on Lamont, forcing Scotland to play from deep. It's one of the areas that Vern Cotter will be looking at closely, that exit strategy, getting beyond the 22. What are you pointing at, Chris?
There's so much space on Scotland's left-hand side. Look at the distance between the midfield partnership of Maurice and Campagnaro on Scotland's left, Italy's right.
And then they clear to Italy's left, where the fullback McLean will take it on. 70th cap today, ahead of Andrea Mazzi, another who's held in reserve.
Release and rule away, number 1.
Penalty against Alistair Dickinson.
Yeah, he just
Number 1
got
white.
caught on the roll tackle. The wrap and roll, and got held in there. Just if you're going to do that, you've got to almost use the momentum of the tackle to roll away. Otherwise, you're always going to get caught in there.
It's Tommaso Allen, plays for Perpignan in the second division, and this was the penalty conceded by Dickinson.
Yeah, you've almost just got to flip your legs over. McLean using that. You might as well hold on to Dickinson's legs and just prove it to the referee that he can't get the ball away.
Shortened line-up, which was initially compressed and then extended. The idea we could see to try and bring in Samuele Venisa, tactic that they used last week.
You came in.
But Venisa has got to time that run to perfection, Ben, and
Yeah,
he was on the move before the ball came
in. A lot of referees fail to referee this properly, but you can't start your move into the line out as a lifter or to take the ball until the ball's actually been thrown. So if you're going to throw it with someone stepping in, they usually have to come in right at the back.
Scotland not finding touch with the penalty. I think that Sato could bring it away, but Italians once again under pressure in their own back garden. Too much pressure once again.
That is a fantastic turnover by John Barclay. A poor kick from Finn Russell, but really well chased, and then Finn Russell followed up with a tackle, and then if we have a look at this again, John Barclay is quick as a flash and over the top of the ball. That's what he brings as a natural 7. He's a good attacking player. Tommaso Allen. Sarto decides to run it out and flips on. Michele comes on, and this is here. Finn Russell follows up, and watch number 7, John Barclay, on his feet over the top of the ball. There's 3 Italians. Can't get him off the ball. Good play.
What was great about that was his body positioning as he went in. He actually came in from the side, but because he flipped his feet round to directly behind the 10, it proves the referee's trying to get onside. No hesitation to give Scotland the penalty instead of reversing it the other way.
And a kind of nod to game management as well. What we've had here is 2 quick-fire penalties from Greg Laidlaw. Hopefully, if this pops over, that's 2 penalties within 5 minutes. And it just keeps Scotland's noses ahead. It keeps taking over the scoreboard. Good play.
14 points in the end, ultimately not enough for Greg Laidlaw in the Six Nations here against Italy. Look at the lead now, Scotland ahead 16-0. It looked hard for any sign of real emotion on the face of Vern Cotter during a match, but inwardly, he's more than happy with the way things are starting.
I think from an Italian perspective, they need to spend some time down here in the Scottish 22. Scotland getting out of their own really defensive areas so easily.
So the ball was lost forward in contact. I don't know how many groats Vern Cotter earns, Chris, but that decision who to take, particularly amongst the loose forwards, is such a difficult one. Everybody is really making it hard for him.
Yeah, and quite rightly so. I mean, you know, it's great from a player's point of view. You do make that decision really, really difficult, and there'll be disappointed players left out. But the nature of the game is these guys can be called at any time. So where Vern Cotter is good and is, you know, player management, people management, is if you have to make that call in 2 weeks' time, someone you've left out to invite back, you need that good relationship to continue.
Fine.
John Barclay's doing well so far, but he's got Blake and Hardy and Blair Cowan on the bench today as well. They aren't short of options, Scotland. And Italy up to this point have been nudging the kicks towards the touchline and taking the line out. I just wonder whether they might be best served here to get some points on the board.
Nice that Dickinson not agreeing with that decision. Certainly if JP Doyle on this near side had had a look, he might have decided the angle wasn't great.
Just looked as if the feet gave way more than anything, Ben, didn't it? It was.
You can see Castrogiovanni, his feet are so far back, just any little wobble. And what Dickinson would have been arguing is, well, I'm still on my feet.
They've opted for the line out. They will try and drive this over the try line there for a test of Scotland's maul defence. They've been working a lot on this over the last fortnight. It'll be tough to stop now. Italy getting some momentum. They've managed to bring it down legally. Oh no, they've not brought it down legally. It's a penalty. Taken on by Castrogiovanni. See how close they are. Palazzani screaming for it. Little chip over the top from Allen. The bounce is critical, and it's picked up by Campagnaro. Little bit of Italian fortune, but that's exactly what they needed to get back into this.
With the penalty coming, it's a free shot, isn't it? You can just, Tommaso Allen could just lift the ball over the top. Shot to nothing. If it doesn't come off, we go back for the penalty. But here, actually an illegal move from the Italians. That's blocking around the front. Referees often don't see it, they let it go, but you can't pick the ball and then go into your own players. They get away with it. Scotland have to commit extra numbers. They give away the penalty. It gives a free shot. The bounce just killing Visser.
I will talk to him.
And the follow-up really, really strong.
Absolutely the right decision to go for the line out.
Yeah, absolutely. And both tries being scored from attacking kicks as well, which is something, you know, the defence has been so strong nowadays. Initially that was defended reasonably well by Mark Bennett, blocking the Italian runners through. But you've got to get under that ball, you've got to catch it in the full and defuse the situation. But well done to Italy. First sustained bit of possessions resulted in 7 points.
It's been Italy's star man in recent times, Campagnaro. In the Aviva Premiership next season, he's scoring tries for his country here.
Just another thing that's worth pointing out is the fact that it's something stolen from rugby league quite a long time ago, was that if you put a ball up towards the post, it makes the defender's job a lot harder. They're thinking, is it going to come off the post? And you just can't quite 100% go for it. It's a really difficult area to defend an attacking little lob over the top like that.
Half an hour gone. Maybe warm up to the World Cup, this one. At Murrayfield, a couple of tries, one each. Lamont initially for Scotland. Campagnaro just now for Italy. Giuliano Palazzani is the scrum half today. The regular scrum half, Eduardo Gori, by the way, still suspended. And taken away by McLean.
Something I've been impressed with Scotland about, and perhaps it's because they're a game further ahead in their preparation. But all those little things that when you get tired drop off, they're being really strong on. Defensive line speed, the torque's really good. When Italy look like they're kicking, they're pointing out who they've got, who's going to do the charge down, who's going to cover them. And that's making them a really difficult prospect to play against. Italy, on the other hand, they seem a little bit tireder, they're not as good with their communication, and as a result, Scotland finding it a lot easier to get out of their defensive zones.
So choosing not to contest in the air at the line-out, giving Scotland free ball, but forward in the pass.
Yeah, you just heard a comment probably coming over your microphones is here with just this forward pass, just forward from Horn to Bennett. And the comment over your microphone was Nathan Hines, accuracy, he said twice. And that's exactly what Scotland need, because their attacking shape's good, their intention's really good. They just really have to hold on to that pass when it shouldn't be given, and just make sure those little passes are on the money. Like if they build the phases, they'll break down Italy.
Nathan Hines, Scotland's forwards effort coaching-wise these days, brought in after the Six Nations. The Claremont link, of course, with him and Vern Cotter, doing a good job. Good man to have around.
Fine. Set. One early pushing. One
Dickinson.
early pushing. One early pushing.
Ryan Grant, by the way, who we saw injure his ankle in Dublin, ought to be fit for the World Cup. I don't think there are any serious doubts about him.
Don't bind too early.
One of those who will be fit enough to be picked if selected. Today it's Dickinson, all Edinburgh front row with Dickinson, WP Nell.
Come forward, come forward.
Adopted South African in his first Murrayfield start, and Ross Ford,
Crutch.
88th cap today for the hooker.
Bind. Set.
Aguero never got in a good position, did he? He was very upright, whether he's just got a twinge in his neck. He pulled out of that scrum very early.
It's an interesting decision to opt for the scrum from the free kick. They won a free kick at the previous scrum, and I find it quite strange to see they opted for the scrum there.
Disappointed to see you not playing at the Stoop next Friday night, Chris. We've got a preview on Thursday night for Rugby Aid, England against the Red. I would have thought that was right up your street, testing the hammies.
No, I promised I'd never play again. I don't know, it's lasted, what, 4 years? It's 4 years since I retired internationally. But yeah, I promised I wouldn't play again. Maybe one day, but at the moment it's not for me.
Mike Tyndall is involved, and Harry Judd as well. I can't remember the last time my teenage daughter got that excited about a rugby match, but she's dying for tickets. A busted start, I am told. Who I hear are a pop combo. So we have Michaeli Rizzo, the Leicester loose head, on the bench.
Make a decision, please, please.
6 months now since he came here in the Six Nations and bagged the win with that penalty try right at the death. Only the second time they've been victorious at Murrayfield. Generally speaking, games between these recently have been close. The last 4 decided by a total of 9 points only. 3 points a week ago.
Number 1, blue.
The decision is that poor Mateus Aguero, who's been going through the rinser in the first half an hour, needs to be brought off.
Well, it's a head injury assessment they're calling for, which means he can come back on. Didn't look like a massive collision of heads in there to cause it.
Saracens folk. Aguero, 3 seasons with them.
Yeah.
Comes a Leicester man.
He's off.
Age of 33, about to play in his first World Cup, Michaeli Rizzo. He's had to be patient. He's had to be a patient old prop, but here he is in this warm-up. Looking forward to a World Cup that starts for Italy 3 weeks today. They play France at Twickenham the day after England and Fiji have opened for business on the Friday night. 5 minutes to half-time. Try a piece. Greg Laidlaw's kick separating these two at the moment.
Don't hide the shoulder. Come forward with the shoulder. No. I want to see the shoulder. Same like your teammate.
French for shoulder.
I think he's been in
I
Scotland
thought he
too
said
long.
shooter.
I think he's been in Edinburgh. Shooter is a Scottish word for shoulder, so he's maybe giving himself away there.
That's fine.
What?
Hiding shoulder.
Hiding the shooter.
You shoulder clearly in front. Hiding
Michaeli
shoulder.
Rizzo has not had a glorious start to this match. Scotland choose to tap and go, and this is Denton. Adam Ash in the 8 shirt last Saturday. This is Gilchrist, set to skipper Scotland into last autumn's international, if you remember, before he broke his arm. It's untimely. Oh, and then Russell gets absolutely kiboshed by Vanessa.
Tackler rolling away, 6.
But coming back for the advantage, Alessandro Zanni not rolling away quickly enough.
Yeah, the Italians just a little bit poor with their discipline. Here's the hit that's coming in, perfectly legal. He's entitled to follow through. It's just the one step. Always difficult for the 10 when he's looking where his pass is going. The tackles comes from his blind side. Certainly Italy just a little bit slow at rolling away from these breakdowns, and referee Roman Platt getting a little bit annoyed, giving the penalty. Scotland get an opportunity to give Italy some of their own medicine and attempt a driving line out.
It's just gone through a quietish spell following Italy's try for Campagnaro. Chance here for Scotland just to reassert some authority with Ford. Looking for Gilchrist, but Furno was up so well. Debut against Scotland ahead of the World Cup 4 years ago. And here he is absolutely sure of his place in the squad.
Step back, White, backward! Use it!
By the captain, Giraldini. And Fabio Ongaro has played more times at hooker for Italy now. They've worked their way out of that potentially difficult situation well.
Great steal though from Furno. It's the best time to attack a line out, really is. 5 metre on your own 5 metre line. No one thinks you're going to go up that hard. They often will do a less complicated movement, just try and secure the ball. The hooker doesn't want to miss his throw that close because he knows that the media and the crowd will get on top of him. So he takes a few inches off the throw. Good opportunity to steal, get up in front of your man, put real pressure on him.
This time Furno went up, but he couldn't stop the ball finding the hands of Johnny Gray. Barkley trucks it on, and this is looking menacing. Penalty conceded at the back of that as it was brought down by Minto, I think it was. Meantime, Bennett looking for some potential softness in the middle of that Italian defence. A little softness amidst the blueness. We're going to come back, and I think Ramon Platt's patience might have reached a watershed here. Francesco Minto now beginning a little bit of a breather. It's just an accumulation, really, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very obvious penalty to give away as well by Francesco Minto. It was a driving line out, and he got himself on the wrong side, and it was an easy one for Roman Platt. Not only the accumulation effect, but it was just so obvious. Scotland have another opportunity now with one man in the sin bin as well, as we'll have a look again. Number 7, Minto.
It's the shift here because Italy put everyone in, as they come around the corner they lose all those players at the front. They needed to keep one man out, and it meant that there was no one at home, and Minto had no option but to try and pull it down, or I think Scotland would have walked all the way to the line.
So short of a man defensively, what can Scotland do with this? They've done the first thing. Wilson snaffles it. Once again, John Barkley has it. And we get the physics. The long levers working. Italian blue defenders shearing off. Furno trying to sort them out, but there's nothing they can do. Roman Platt, don't think he's got a clear view of this, so we'll have to involve Sean Veltzman.
Well, there's nothing that the forwards could do to stop it, but Esposito certainly got the legs underneath. Did he do enough to stop the ball being grounded?
It was Barkley from start to finish in that drive. If he did.
Loud and clear.
Any reason why I cannot award this try, please?
Confirm, please. Any reason why you cannot
Second
award?
question, clearly.
Okay.
No, don't talk to me.
The referee thinks it's a try. He just wants to check that the TMO can't see definitively that the ball wasn't grounded. If it's all a mass of bodies, the try will be given. That's no try at the moment for me. We'll have to look from another angle. But I think Esposito's knee's underneath there. It's not grounded yet. And then he almost rolls towards Esposito. It's down there. It's down there, yeah. Use of the other angle.
Actually using the new Hawkeye system that we'll use in the World Cup today, but the general consensus is that normally within 2 or 3 replays of a particular angle, you you get to sort it out, and I think we've done it here with this one.
Away.
That's it there, grounded. There's no reason you can't get that.
Here we go.
Roman, Sean, can you hear me?
Yep,
I've got no reason for you not to work this try.
I agree. That's a try.
To cap a very good 40 minutes for Scotland in general, and John Barkley in particular. Scotland with a couple of tries before the break. 21-7 with the conversion to come.
Yeah, good try by John Barkley. That's his third in Scottish colours. He's been impressive all round, and you know, he also worked to the line of drive there, but he had to keep control of the ball under pressure on the line, keep his discipline, and he did that. A great try for Scotland just before half-time to stretch the lead to 21-7.
Over a minute of the first half to go. Scotland 23-7.
All came from the line out before, really, when they lost the man to the bin from over-committing at the front again. They try not to this time. They get bodies coming round the corner. Scotland go through the middle. The defence is good at this stage, but eventually, as it goes stationary, all the bodies come into one place. They're short round the front this time. Then they come back round this side. They're trying to react to it, Italy. They can't. And the breakout's a good call, probably from scrum half Laidlaw. That's a wonderful take as well. Lost his lifters.
Final half a minute. Oh, Finn Russell kicks to touch. And we've still got a few seconds to go here. I think that's a mistake. I don't think, I think we're going to have a reset here. The replacements are on the pitch. Everyone's on the pitch. Players were leaving the pitch, but we've got to go again.
I think Vaniso's got his cup of tea already. He's already in the changing room. He's having to walk out now.
The match clock is at 40:00, and then the stadium clock. So obviously Finn Russell took his gauge from that.
Well, that's a handy little lesson. Come World Cup time, it's the referee who'll decide when the half ends.
I know that because it's happened to me before, Mick. I've been in that exact situation. Never take the risk.
Here Roman Poit just telling the lifters of Italy not to obstruct as the jumper lands.
It's taken in by Furno. Surely Italy aren't going to compound that by scoring. They're driving forward forcefully here. Vanessa, 5 metres short. Zani finds Castrogiovanni. Scrum half wraps round again. Barkley extricates himself from the situation. This is Giraldini. Marisi is hanging around, but it was the figure of Vanessa, the muscular Fijian, who was used instead.
Just a lot slower, the Italian ball, isn't it? And once they make that punch and get in behind Scotland, they need quicker ball. The moment the Scottish, and look at them all on the front foot there, sprint position, ready to come out and make a big hit. Castrogiovanni knocked back, transferred the ball well, trying to set up the maul.
Zani to Zani, we've barely mentioned Alessandro Zani. Been doing a great deal offensively, not that Italy have, to be honest. This is Fusa who took it on behind the back of Castrogiovanni. Now Campagnaro, who's scorer of Italy's sole try so far. And then it's stolen away by Laidlaw, and it might be Scotland who finish with a flourish. This is Hogg. Leonard to his right, taking into contact on halfway, and still they go with Peter Horn.
There's no defence in behind, they've spotted it.
Chase back from Esposito. And that is half-time. A little bit of... What does the remaining 40 minutes have in store for him, for the teams and for us? Tommaso Allen, who once upon a time had Finn Russell, Mark Bennett, Sam Hidalgo, Klein for teammates back in his days with Scotland's under-20s, but he's
take
on
it
the
back
other side
in.
of the line this afternoon.
All wide in front, stay!
Played off the left boot of Peter Horn, which offers another option. Those defensive clearances from the 22. The big left boot of Horn. There's the right boot of the fullbacks, Stuart Hogg.
Stop!
Italian counterpart is Luke McLean. Andrea Mazzi is on the bench today. McLean left Sale at the end of last season, with Treviso in this coming one.
Stay wide. 3.
And there goes Russell. And he gets the bounce, and Scotland can put some pressure on with the first line out of this second half.
Just wonder whether he might have wanted to keep that on the field. A couple of people out of position in the Italian backfield.
Yeah, it was a big old target as well, wasn't it, Ben? There was so much grass for Finn Russell to find. Interestingly, right from the kick-off, Italy had 2 opportunities to counter that. The first was Venusa, and he just passed. He didn't even look to you. When Italy are firing, he's carrying hard. I wonder if their mindset's just still in the changing room a little bit after half-time.
I just wonder at half-time whether they've been told to play the territory because they had so little down in Scotland's defensive third. Certainly they've been kicking a lot more early on in this half.
Stay 3 on! Thank you.
Squiffy old clearance from Allen. And this ball eventually picked up by the first try scorer, Sean Lamond. Laidlaw to Johnny Gray. First test back for him since starting all 5 in the Six Nations.
Lisa will have another opportunity to carry now. He might want to tuck this one under his arm.
No, Mr. McLean again instead, and McLean gets on his bike and slips under the challenge from Dickinson, and does well to have Luca Marisi up in support, but it's been lost, playing the advantage as Hogg wriggles away from the attention of McLean. And he did nicely.
Advantage over.
Straight into the breadbasket of the Italian fullback again. Tackled by Horn.
Brilliant defence from Scotland. The low chop tackle, and then instantaneously with McLean trying to get the ball into the squeeze position to give his troops time to get back. The latch comes round his body and holds the ball underneath him. The referee pings the Italian fullback for not releasing.
Yeah, just had a really good counter-attack actually, McLean, and this time well tackled by Peter Horn. And I think it's Ryan Wilson and Alistair Dickinson, over the top of the ball, winning the penalty for Scotland. And it gives an opportunity for Scotland to build possession early on in the second half, see if the line-out's functioning and keep some more pressure on Italy.
Acrobatically won by Gilchrist. Edinburgh locked forward, and off that Russell can run it. And this is Hogg, and the ball to Visser. Just ran out of space, and McLean was there to tidy up for Italy.
He did the right thing to throw it back in. There's nothing worse than dying with it into touch. It's as good as a turnover. Now Italy have to clear their lines under much more pressure. Brilliant break. Excellent line in midfield, Chris, to hold the defence and create that little gap on the outside.
Yeah, set-piece ball, 9 straight to 12, and Finn Russell, the number 10, coming back and getting the ball in the loop. And here I thought Stuart Hogg would score. I think he's maybe still carrying that knock from the warm-up. He gives it to Visser, who I thought, again, that finisher, he's got a real powerful finisher. I thought he'd come back and field, but he does really well to hold it after the juggle, get the ball back in play, and then put pressure on the clearance kick from Italy.
Back by Wilson.
8, clearly in front. 8.
It's the lifters acting as blockers after they drop the jumper. It's so difficult because you don't know what competition's going to come on the floor from the defensive side. And you lift the man, you try and get him out of the line to protect him as he comes down, and you find yourself blocking.
These are the little things that the coaching staff and the players will want to get right come Rugby World Cup time. You don't get too many opportunities in big games, and just unfortunate there for Scotland when the penalty against Dave Denton, stepping across in the lift.
See, he's the back lifter, and then he ends up, it's a good call from Romain Poit, ends up being a complete barrier to the ball carrier.
You don't often see those being pulled up by referees, so it's really well refereed, as you say.
Time ticking away on Francesco Minto's sin bin, by the way. Just a few seconds left before Italy will be back to a full complement. Fermo wins it. Palazzani is the scrum half this afternoon. Gori still suspended. This is Giraldini setting his sights, playing on a third World Cup. Allen. Esposito drifting away to the left. He's involved for the first time in a year. Italy at the breakdown have not been anywhere near as secure as Jacques Brunel would have wanted them to be today. And Scotland adding some pace to it.
Yeah, exactly that. They're trying to sick of the steadiness of this opening stanza of the second half. They were at their best when they ran Italy ragged in the first.
Hogg to Russell, who was standing out a little bit further. He was caught in midfield by Vanessa.
Yep.
Ready?
Okay, Roman.
Minto
Hold
readying
on.
himself
Decision.
to join us again.
In the corner. Wait for the kick, please, Neil.
I think if this had been a Six Nations match, the decision might have been to go for the 3 points, Chris, but they feel that they can just expand a little bit here.
I think so, and I think it's a wise decision. You know, Scotland, there's so many different facets of your game. There's your strategies that you've been working all over summer that you need to get right come the World Cup, and I think these are the perfect opportunities. It looks as if Scotland are in a comfortable position, 23 points to 7 ahead, but they have to be accurate. The last time they went to a touch, they were penalised. This is another ideal opportunity to test the scenarios, test the systems, and get yourself in a good place ahead of international coming up.
That's exactly right, because you can do all the driving sessions in training. There's nothing like doing it in a match when people have different fatigues, other things to worry about. It's the only time you get to work out whether what you've done all summer's working.
Once again, John Barclay has his mitts on the ball. He scored a try off a very similar situation in the first half.
That's just the control of him. He's gone down now. He's going to try and get back to his feet, but he didn't rush forward. And now the waves come, they'll pick and go. They need to clear the bodies out of the way. Laidlaw having a little look for himself.
Gilchrist is waiting for it in the red cap. Instead, it's Denton. Still driving those legs. They can go left or right now. They choose to go left. Finn Russell gives it some air. And Visser scores. How well was that organised? From the drive from the line out to the try out wide.
Another fantastic try for Scotland. They'll be so happy with that. The drive was executed really well, as you said, under pressure, and then they had to go through the phases. This is the start of it. Win the line out first.
Just look how Denton keeps in the armchair. He doesn't rush forward. Now they're driving, He has a probe either side. His head will come up and have a little look, but he's trying to stay in behind those blockers. He swaps sides there. That's really good balanced play. The extra bodies come in, they all go past him.
And then after the power, here's the finesse, the vision, the ability of Finn Russell to drag the defenders and throw a 20-yard pass right into Tim Visser's arms, and he scores.
What I like about this is how hard the lines were of all Scotland's inside backs, which meant Visser could just stand out there and Russell could just look at the end man, and if he hinged in with the centres, he could throw that looping pass. If they didn't hinge in, he could pick out one of those hard runners coming back against the grain.
Just to take Scotland into the 30s. Got some curl on it, just a little bit too much in the end. Try Scotland's third, scored by Visser. They chopped Rory Hughes and Damien Hoyland from the squad this week. Debutants on the wing in Turin last Saturday. They were amongst the 7 discarded, increasing the impression that Tim Visser will almost certainly be part of that World Cup squirt at 31 when it's named on Tuesday.
Yeah, he's a good try scorer. He certainly finishes them in both Scotland's tries. Well, 2 or 3 Scotland's tries have come from the width from the wingers. It's maybe an indication of how Vern Cotter wants to play the game.
It was the nippy run from Horn that put Scotland immediately on the front foot from the restart. Esposito is down injured, so at the moment having to defend without their right wing. continuing to have a dig down Italy's left side for the time being. Now they might spread it wide. Horn. Beyond the stricken figure of Esposito, and now we're into the territory that he might otherwise have been defending as Visser takes it on. Gray thought about passing to Barkley, held on to it and finds Wilson brilliantly.
Straight off your feet.
Scotland coming off their feet, giving away the penalty, but it's almost impossible for Italy
in the second time
to get any line speed in defence because Scotland are so clinical at the breakdown. The quick ball, by the time Italy gets set, they can't come forward. Scotland are moving the tempo, moving the ball really, really well.
It's so much harder to do all the defending. It's so much more tiring. So at the beginning of your pre-season, Italy not getting back quickly enough and getting set into the defensive line, which means as they come up as that line, half of them are going up hard, half of them aren't, and it's causing dog legs in the line that it's Scotland just starting to expose.
I think the Italians are probably going to have to look at the bench before Scotland here, because as you say, it's physically demanding to defend, and they've done a lot of defending, they've not had a lot of possession. Here's Massey going to enter the fray, a really dynamic hard runner, very experienced player, but I think Italy are going to have to use their bench.
Yes, they're taking Esposito off. It's not the oldest international fixture, this one, by the way. They've been playing each other for less than 20 years. If you can remember the try scorers when they first played in '96, Scotland won. Kenny Logan, Derek Stark and Tony Stanger.
Replacement or... Yeah.
This is the 25th encounter. You enjoy yourself against Italy, Chris?
Okay.
Always close. Those always seem to come down to a penalty kick or a conversion, one way or the other. And no more so than the 2007 World Cup in Italy. It was a nail-biter. They're always really, really close games. I was involved here when we were lost in 2007. I was captain, actually, of Scotland. And it was a game where we were 21 points nil down after 6 minutes. It was it built character that day. It built a bit of character.
Scottish change in midfield. Matt Scott's on for Peter Horn. There's a real battle between those two for a place in Scotland's midfield. Just a sense at the moment that Horn might have his nose ahead.
Yeah, he's played really well. He brings everything. He's got a left-foot kicking option. He's a good communicator. He's a good attacker, good defender. Really good series from Peter Horn so far. But Matt Scott's a dynamic player, and we look forward to him with the ball in hand.
Scotland running it, but they've really not run it with any kind of conviction today. Lost by Leonardo Sato. Try-scoring debut here for him a couple of years ago, but it's been a scruffy old afternoon for Italy so far.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed. I mean, this is a good set piece, a good line-out, and then a wide attack, but before the first phase, they're turning over possession again, and they just can't seem to hold onto the ball for any stretch of time. Good defence from Scotland, but that's a pass that should stick. Either break through, build the phases, put some pressure on Scotland, but Jacques Brunel won't be happy with what he's seen so far.
You sure you will engage on him?
There's a strategic piper who has been placed in those seats to rouse the locals. Italy, by the way, still with Michele Rizzo in that front row. He came on before half-time for Mateus Aguero on the left-hand side, on the loose head side, and he's still involved.
Another collapsed scrum. Referee wants to see it reset.
Longest bind.
Looks like Graham Henry.
Under pressure, he comes from that way.
Keep going on this side, keep going.
There was a beach party theme, by the way, at Murrayfield today. It's not every day that you bring inflatable rubber rings or dolphins, but that's what the SRU were looking for.
The sun shining, Nick. We'll take any advantage we get when the sun shines in Edinburgh.
That's the floodlights.
The crowd providing their own entertainment with the accompaniment of the piper, and now we're ready to get back in touch with the match.
Let's go now, fire you in. I'll fire you in.
Bind. Set.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Early pushing.
Not been good in the scrum, Italy today. Scott, first job to drive it on, which he does so well. Russell, oh, that was neat, involving Hogg. Sleight of hand, a little bit of magic from the 10. Very nearly releasing the 15 to the try line. Gilchrist comes over the top to free the ball up.
Advantage offside, 12.
Scotland penalty right under the post, but they want much more. Bennett looking for a bit of daylight in that blue defence.
The advantage, another one.
This time Marisi offside, another advantage. And we will come back, a run of them.
Again, that momentum, but it all starts from
12 offside.
brilliant little
12.
bit of play. Scotland have been working towards this all game. They've been using the decoy runner, throwing it in behind. And Italy have stopped defending the decoy runner, so this time Hogg just says, I'll have it this time. They shape to throw to the decoy runner. Finn Russell shapes to throw to the decoy runner, has a look at him in behind, but just pops it up to Hogg. And the line was so good, he just tripped himself on the turf.
Some real brave defence from Italy here as well. Scotland a lot of possession, but they are still physically combative. There's Matt Rennett, rides the first chance, but he's hit down again, and the pressure tells in a penalty. But credit to Italy, they're still being physical. But if you hit as good a line as that man hit, you're into space, you're not hitting a man. So some really good interlinking play between the two Glasgow backs, Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg.
Interestingly, Laidlaw's decision here is to go to the posts.
Goal kickers have to practice under pressure as well ahead of the World Cup. It's not all about the punches you mass.
Yes, Greg.
No, that's a good point. In tighter matches, what he does off the tee may well decide the result come World Cup time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something, you know, in friendlies it's very easy just to ignore the goal kicking, but you know, Greg, like every other kicker, hasn't kicked all summer under pressure. It's good for him to, not that he needs it, he's pretty successful, but it's all part of the master plan ahead of the tournament next month.
There's also a little bit of not showing too much of your hand to what you're going to do in the World Cup, and they've had a few goes at line-out tries. About now you'd probably be thinking as the line-out caller, well, we probably need to throw in another little movement, maybe a shift drive or appeal, but you don't want to be showing teams a shift drive or appeal now. You want to be saving that for the World Cup.
Scotland open up in 25 days' time at Kingsholm against Japan.
Stay in front, please.
Italy, 3 weeks today. They'll be at Twickenham taking on the French. And they will need to play much, much better than they played this afternoon to give what looks like a rejuvenated French side a game.
Fantastic tackle there by Ryan Wilson. The kick from Hogg was deep, it was long. Vunissa had the chance to counter-attack, but Alistair Kellogg mentioned Ryan Wilson at half-time, and that tackle there just epitomises his work rate and his quality. Very difficult against a big man, but a low chop, and here's Dave Denton getting over the ball as well.
Ross Ford leaves us having won his 88th cap, a record 88th cap for a Scottish forward. No British or Irish hooker has played more test matches. The list of those, by the way, Ben, ahead of him on the world charts is an impressive one. Mialamu, Ibanez, Stephen Moore, Smith and Fitzpatrick. That's the kind of territory that Ross Ford's in these days.
Yeah, he's clearly in front. I won't manage that.
The guy that's replacing him, Stuart McInally, used to play in the back row, he's just transferred to hooker. He's a really exciting player as well, and this will be valuable game minutes for him in the front row.
He's became a test player a week ago in Turin. First time in a Scottish shirt on home soil.
Too close, too close, too close. Don't engage.
Remains an all-Edinburgh front row. McInally sandwiching in between Alistair Dickinson and WP Nell. He's got a gap to fill after Ewan Murray retired back in February. He just thought that a World Cup was one more commitment than he needed. He's got a growing family, and he just wanted to concentrate Ewan Murray on the family and leave World Cups for others. And here comes Rob Harley, featured in all of Scotland's matches over the last year.
Captain.
Blair Cowan as well, who over the last 12 months has really established himself as one of the regulars in the team. And we're going to have a little lecture between a Frenchman and an Italian. when there's a Scotsman there as well.
Just to make sure about the players at scrum, next one there is a clear infringement, he go out. All right? Because we cannot do that. Just one scrum played in the first half and nothing else after that. All right?
Just let me talk to him first, right?
We talked to JP Dahl, the touch judge today, before the match. He was the referee a week ago in Turin, a succession of reset scrums, and we asked him about the scrum, me and Benny, and he just puffed his cheeks out and changed the subject, didn't he?
I don't think he enjoyed that aspect that much last week. Such a difficult balance for the officials, though, because if you are getting reset after reset, you can try and stamp your authority early on, but as we've seen here, Romain Poit did that. It's just crept back in now. A few substitutions always makes things a little bit more unstable as well. I think that's folding at the hips on the loose head side for Italy. Cristallini, although Scotland end up on their fronts, I think it was a bit of hinging.
Rizzo closest to us on the right-hand side, and the Italian man who replaced Matthias Aguero on their loose head. He took a bang to the head in the first half. It's actually a real worry, this, for Italy heading into the World Cup, because it's one of their strong suits, this, Ben. If they're not getting a platform in the scrum, they are really starting to struggle.
I think he might be saying exactly the same thing. Maybe blaming the referee, but it has been unstable in both these games.
Aragon. Scotland have scored 3 tries through Lamont, Barkley and Visser in this second half. Campagnaro, the best that Italy have had to offer thus far. Here's Denton. Josh Strauss, by the way, qualifies a day after the World Cup starts, but he will be allowed to be included in the 31 if that's what Vern Cotter wants. Strauss, the Glasgow 8, that's gone forward. Challenge for the players around this period of the match. We've had 1 or 2 replacements just to keep it tidy, Chris, to stop it becoming ragged. It is becoming a little bit here.
Yeah, it is really difficult, especially when you look at the scoreboard and it's 31 points to 7, and then you think the mental psychology of the players, they're trying to impress individually. You've got to stick to the systems, you've got to stick to the structures, as we see Scotland making 1 or 2 changes. Grant Gilchrist being replaced by Rob Harley, and a man who's played really well, John Bartley, is going to replace try scorer by Blair Cowan, and that's a good move from the management as well, because the players coming on will add impetus, but they've got to stick to the systems, the structures, and execute them well.
I know it's not your job, so you can give us an easy answer, but has John Barkley done enough to earn himself a World Cup spot?
I would like to see him there. I think he offers an attacking edge. I think he brings experience. He's a leader, and he's captained teams he's played in the past, and yeah, I think he brings a lot. Who you leave out, I don't know, but I'd like to see him involved.
It will be revealed to the players on Monday. We'll get to hear on Tuesday. Italy looking to put something together themselves, but there was no way through for Andrea Mazzi as he was hit hard by Lamont. This is McLean. Guillermo Palazzani is still with us, and Lamont will scorch through for his second and Scotland's 4th. And there's a smile on the face of Scottish rugby as we head towards the World Cup.
It's just the difference of being able to attack a breakdown, which means your defensive line are on the front foot and they can go forward. They don't have to hang off. They go forward as a line, and Italy desperate to get round the outside of the overlap. No look on the outside, blindsided.
This is the first decision he makes, really. Steps and hits Massey. Now, that's a really difficult thing to do defensively from a wing, but he does it well, Sean Lamont. He then gets back in. Blair Cowan makes an impact in slowing down the possession, which allows Sean Lamont to see everything from outside and just pick off that pass and scotch home.
My goodness, how well he's taken his opportunity in the absence of Tommy Seymour. Seymour still struggling a little bit with a back injury. He's not far away, but having been called into the squad, Lamont has impressed everybody on the training pitch and, importantly, now scoring tries. More Scottish changes, a couple of hefty props, Gordon Reid and John Welsh. Coming on for Dickinson and Nell. And he just curls away. Is that the first kick he's missed? I think it might be.
1 and 3, time off.
Just a static ball. Line speed's good, they try and ship it along the line just to get on the outside. It's a great read. Scotland look comfortable, don't they? They look like they've got that second wind as well. They've got those first couple of games of pre-season under their belts. They'll be peaking just at the right time.
It's for the benefit of those who like to keep a note of these things. Laidlaw misconverting the Visser-try at the start of the second half, so his second miss, but only his second miss. He's kicked out. This is Gordon Reid, 10th cap in Turin last Saturday, 11th here for the Glasgow prop. Bennett has showed up well. First time we've seen him for a while. Back by Welsh. Seems to be a Newcastle prop. This is Hogg. Beginning to find some holes in that blue wall.
Backward.
Johnny Gray, second opportunity. Brother Richie was playing last Saturday. We expect both of them to be part of the 31.
Just think it's very difficult for the substitutes coming on to try and get straight away into the same sort of rhythm that the players that have already been there for. In Scotland now, the players that are coming on need to run as straight as the players they've replaced. As if they're waiting for the pass and drifting off, they're going to struggle.
Andrea Manici, zebra hooker, who's about to come on, but the man replacing Francisco Minto is Mauro Bergamasco, who is coming on for his 100th appearance in the Italian back row. That adds to the 3 caps that he won on the wing. And just the one at scrum half. For some reason, he never went beyond the one, old Mauro, but he's clocked up 100 in the back row now. What a presence he remains.
And also just announced in his selection for his 5th World Cup, I think. Brian Lima, is he the only other? So, it's a record to be proud of. He's very combative, played against them often. Tough back row player. I didn't play. Ben, did you play the day he played scrum half at Twickenham?
No.
19.
That's the sort of man he is, isn't he? He will give anything a go for the cause. Probably had he been of a different nationality, would have been one of the superstars of World Rugby.
It's been a very good hour for Greg Laidlaw. Chance in the final quarter of this match for Henry Pyrgos, just to show us what he can do again. He was excellent controlling affairs in Italy last Saturday.
All front row, going down.
There's Gordon Reid. I'll tell you what, Ryan Grant's ankle injury shouldn't rule him out of the World Cup, so options prop as well.
On the line,
A couple of tries for Henry Pyrgos over the last 2 Saturdays. He scored in Dublin, and he scored that critical try in Turin that ended up winning the match. And whether he's second choice or third choice with Laidlaw and Pyrgos and Hidalgo Klein, again there's a little bit of depth to Scotland's selection at scrum half. Italy keen to get this rolling ball going that they have unsuccessfully managed to do thus far.
Side entry 19.
Penalty against Harley.
It's an important 15 minutes or so for Italy as well, isn't it? They've been disappointing this afternoon.
Sorry?
But they've won a penalty there from the scrum. They've then won a penalty from the driving line. This is more like the type of game that they'll want to play. So under pressure, that they'll be looking for points here. But it's good for Scotland to defend as well, to trust their defensive systems, to work hard in defence.
Let's watch carefully to see how Scotland try and defend this line-out, whether they get players in the air to disrupt it at source. No, they're waiting for Furno to come down before they sack him.
It was good sack as well, because they didn't wait and try and pull him over towards their side. They hit him hard and put him to ground while they were going forward, and here come the troops, the cavalry, doing exactly the same. That is your perfect defensive line-out drive.
And Matt Taylor will be very happy, the Scottish defensive coach, at 36 points to 7 ahead. And then you see that impact, that attitude from the Scottish forward pack to stop a strength of the Italian game, which is that driving maul.
Yeah, not just Matt Taylor, but Nathan Hines as well. He'd have been part of the coaches engineering that defensive maul. And there was just a little bit of fruity language that you might have picked up on the referees, Mike, so sorry about that.
Yeah, TMO just saying, Michele Rizzo, potential foul play.
17? Blue.
Rizzo is number 17, so there he is.
He's got his elbow slightly.
Just have a look at 17 blue. Yeah. Can you take away the ribbon?
He's got his elbow in the face of Gordon Reid. Oh, and then well, that's much more important. Potentially much more costly. The elbow's there, and then what about this on Gordon Reid?
Okay.
He's lucky that it connects with the shoulder rather than the head. I think he's aiming for the shoulder, but could easily have caught the head. Still holding on, there's a bit of elbow in the face, and then
can you see it, Roman?
The lash out.
It doesn't look good, does it? It doesn't look good at all.
Similar to Dylan Hartley's incident.
It's born from frustration, but it doesn't look good.
Roman Sean. Roman Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Those were all the angles. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Those were all the angles shown by the broadcaster.
Sorry?
Those were all the angles shown by the broadcaster.
Okay, what's your recommendation about that?
That was a blue boot against the shoulder, the neck of 70 of White.
Yeah.
Penalty.
Penalty against 17 White.
Penalty against 7 White and a yellow card.
And a yellow card?
I think he's rescued from a red by the fact that it didn't connect with the head.
17 blue.
17 blue, okay.
Well, I can't imagine that Michele Rizzo's
He cannot do that. He cannot do that.
It wasn't a great deal of argument. Might be some relief that it is only a yellow, but it will take him out for much of what's left of this contest.
We didn't get a call from the bench, but make sure if the call
is... head injury can't come back on, so we don't have extra prop.
We will know after the next scrum, okay?
Heldon Hayes just making the point that scrums might now become an issue because they've lost their two loose heads, Aguero in the first half and now Rizzo in this second.
Thanks, Sean.
It was being replaced by Rory Jackson, the Wasps man, who's gone to fullback. It's that kind of flexibility that just might add to his chances of being picked in that 31. Fly half as well, of course.
Instantly you're seeing the medics getting to work, just making sure no swelling from that little twinge before the game.
Visser, a powerful figure. He'll be part of Harlequin's attack force next season down at the Stoop in the Aviva Premiership. Ball's there. It's been won by Welsh, and he did well to secure it, but in the end, I think he's held on for a little bit too long. Fortnight after having his hands full in Dublin with that Irish scrum. He's recovered from concussion. He's back with us today. Now, this final 10 minutes could go one of two ways. It could either peter out like an autumnal bonfire, or one of these two sides might make a real statement in what we've got left.
I think because of the use of the bench as well, there's so many players on the Scotland side pushing for this selection, this final 31 to be announced on Tuesday. So that hopefully will bring the edge for them. And I think Italy will be disappointed with their performance so far, and they'll be looking to improve and just keep a hold of the ball, get some possession, and prepare for their game against Wales next weekend.
It's Marisi it was who took it on, looking for a little bit of Italian sharpness. And they'll be frustrated they've not found enough off so far today. Sato took it to ground. Palazzani once again there at scrum half to release it quickly for Tommaso Allen. Tackled by Denton. Denton's still there. He's to give it best in the end, and this is Bergamasco. 36 now.
Once again, Tucker.
Penalty's gone against Welsh. Taken quickly by Palazzani. Picked up by Manici. This is Mazzi. It's as close as Italy have been for a long, long time. Here's Bergamasco. A bit of promise about this Italian position. Allen. Ferner running off him, but McLean gave the ball away, and Visser will head all the way to the line. And this is Murrayfield in full voice and Visser in full flight.
Italy trying to create some nice opportunities. The movement's good, but unfortunately the angles are all drifting across the field. Visser right out on that wing can spot that, and he hinges in, reads the pass. They tried to run the decoy runner, but the outside man reads it, and you're not going to stop him when he gets that sort of head start, no matter what the distance.
Yeah, he's a proven try scorer, isn't he? You can see here the defence are always outside the attack. That allows Tim to see that ball. Before that, Italy had progressed well. Bergamasco had a few hits, but then Tim Visser sees that coming, and he's athletic, he's quick, and there's no way he'll stop. It scores under the post for his second try of the afternoon.
Finn Russell with the extras. Not far off a record win now against Italy. 32 points, the best ever margin, and the result of that little bit of looseness from McLean. They're up to 36.
We just saw McLean's eyes there. He had to keep them on the ball for a long time to ensure that he kept hold of it, and he was also looking at the defender, seeing if he had time to throw the pass. He never looked outside and saw this eyeing up the opportunity.
There goes the replacement hooker, Manici. Doesn't test for him now, all as a replacement. Brought on Marcello Violi as well, the Zebra scrum half, debut last Saturday. He's only played 10 minutes in Pro 12 rugby, and here he is again with the shaven head, the newly shaved head. It's part of the initiation of any new Italian cap that the rest of the squad get the chance to have a go at cutting your hair, and the deal is you have to keep it that way for 3 or 4 days, at which point they all then dive to the barbers to have it shaved off. Looking forward to seeing Carlo Canna, who's had a similar cut. Last forward by Marisi.
You are the new captain, 19?
It's been a ragged afternoon for Italy. Not one that Jacques Brunel will
on the ground, and once
too many positives from.
Just have a discipline for that, please. 8.
Italy go to Millennium Stadium next Saturday to take on Wales before the World Cup opener against the French at Twickenham. Simona Venisa
Castro, you should to play a contested scrum.
being replaced by
Okay, fine.
Castrogiovanni, who's coming back in.
It's a good opportunity to not for him the best of days. He's coming back onto the scrum, and the reason it wasn't the best of the day is probably a good time to announce the man of the match. And Italy's strength traditionally has always been the scrum, and that man, Alistair Dickinson, has managed to keep them at bay, win a number of penalties at the beginning of the game that set the tone for Scotland. He's my BT Sport man of the match.
It's been a very good afternoon for the 31-year-old, nearing his 50th cap. Penalty.
17 is going down.
We're going forward.
Martin Castrogiovanni celebrating that penalty. I don't think he's agreed with all of the decisions today, but sloppiness just comes back with a missed kick for touch.
Alongside Dan Carter at Racing next season.
Is he in the front row?
How often he'll be alongside Dan Carter is a matter of speculation.
We're trying to be positive. We want to go forward.
He missed his presence today. He'll be back against Wales in Cardiff with it. He's had a long old season, back end of last season, playing with Stade Francais, who were pretty much playing until July in the French leagues. Not needed to worry too much about World Cup warm-ups, but he will play against Wales, Parisse.
He was brilliant in the run into the end of the season as well, wasn't he? Top 14 champions.
To the final 5 minutes. There's going to be one final flourish for Scotland. They have already done enough to earn a general thumbs up. And the scrum on halfway, lost by Jackson. Back at Murrayfield for the first time after a serious knee injury at the start of his opening season with Wasps. So good to see him back involved.
Yeah, as you said, when he came on, he can play in a number of positions. I like him at fullback. Played most of his rugby as a first receiver, as a standoff, but he's good under the high ball. He's a good attacking runner, good kicking game. Very similar in many ways to Stuart Hogg. I think, you know, fullback suits him, and it's a good option to have in the World Cup squad. Only played, I think, about 2 games for Wasps, or a game and a half for Wasps before he got his injury, but the 2 he'd played in the Aviva Premiership were pretty good, so he was retained, and I'm sure he'll have a successful season in England as well.
Stand up, stand up.
They come right across, I can't go down. Oh, where's the better?
With his newly shaven bonds.
I'll go down.
He's only 21, he's played so little Pro 12 rugby. It's part of what Brunel is trying to do to bring on new young stars. I imagine that they'll look beyond Eduardo Gori as a starter at scrum half in the World Cup. He served his suspension. Again, this is Violi. Taken on by Marisi. In midfield. There's Cowan on the floor, battling away. Played off the floor by Bergamasco to Zani. 2 old familiar war horses. Canna is the 22 who's joined us. And this again is Luca Marisi. Having a busy old game against England at Twickenham in February, scored a couple of tries. Very little opportunity going forward this afternoon here at Murrayfield, and foot in touch just before Jackson got the ball away.
Thank you.
Better possession from Italy that time, but they're too deep in the wide outside. You know, they created a bit of space to attack, but by the time they got it there, the Scottish defence was quite comfortably sliding across the field. So not too big a test for the Scottish defence, but you know, in the end they had to kick the ball away with 2 or 3 minutes remaining. They'd rather keep that in hand, running hard at the spaces out wide. But I say disappointing from Italy today.
3.
Kaylee Rizzo is coming back on to join us. Castro can head back to his cigar and leather armchair. And
stay with us, all right?
we may see him in Millennium Stadium in a week's time.
Is that correct? 1.5 minutes?
It's interesting that Sean Veltzman, the television match official, giving Romain Poit almost a second-by-second update on the time. We don't want a repeat of the shambles at the end of the first half. When it is full time, it would be nice if this was full time in about 90 seconds time. Vanessa piles it forward. McLean, the fullback, inviting Mazzy to run onto it. Watching Scotland's defence at the moment. Drilled as it is by Matt Taylor. Satisfied enough with what he's seen this afternoon. This is Martin Heldenhuis, skip of the side a week ago. Just the one Italian try so far, scored by Campagnaro in the first half, and Sato tries to needle his way through. But all too often for Italy today, that has been the outcome of their attacks, and Jackson under some pressure, couldn't clear, but it might yet work for them. Wonderful stuff from Bennett. He's got to go on his own. He's got Visser in support. Has he got the pace? Of course he has. It's been some comeback for Mark Bennett. It's been some afternoon for Scotland.
Well done, Mark Bennett. He thoroughly deserves that. He's defended well. He's hit a lot of good lines in attack. And then he was just sharper. He was just quicker than everyone else in the reaction to the bubbling sort of charge down kick, and then he had the race in his hands. Sometimes there's nothing worse than seeing 80 metres ahead of you because you know you're going to go, but he did it. He had the pace to go, and great try from Mark Bennett.
Well, it's Bennett who makes the strip in the tackle initially, and then you see the charge down, and as the ball bops in his hands, he looks at Andrea Mazzi and sees him not got his feet quite in the right position. He's flown out on the line. He thinks he can swerve him. He can, and then it's all about just keeping that form right, using the angle of the pitch and as much of the pitch as necessary so the cover can't get to him. That is a fantastic individual try. Strips the ball and goes the length.
First test since he hurt his shoulder against Ireland in the Six Nations. And again, is he one of those written in ink of Owen Cotter's World Cup squad? This goes over, Scotland will have a half century. Has he done it? No. They'll have to remain in the roaring 40s, but that will do. A record win against Italy. Nothing close about this one. Thoroughly satisfying afternoon.